A lovely 8-game Saturday night in the NBA. We're here to talk about all the games. Much better than 11 games. Funny, isn't it? Makes a difference. 11 down to 8. It's not a huge number change or difference, but yeah, it certainly makes it a lot more palatable than 11 games. Welcome to Stuff It, a fantasy basketball podcast brought to you as always by FanDuel, part of the Old Man Squad Network. The YouTube channel, go and subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and download the audio versions as well, please, and thank you. Let's get straight into the games, shall we? Let's bring it up. First game, slightly early start, a couple of hours earlier than usual, which is a nice way here for us to start a Sunday morning. The Celtics, they fall to the Timberwolves 119-115. This was close all the way, which meant that we had big minutes for most of the starters. Jaylen Brown, let's start with him, 41 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 steals, 1 block. Relatively efficient, 17 of 32 from the field, 5 of 11 from 3, only 2 of 4 from the free throws. So if we're nitpicking, that's probably the downside, but otherwise a very good night for him. Now, they are on a back-to-back, I believe, but let me confirm that. Sunday. Yes, they play Cleveland tomorrow. So just be aware if you have Jaylen Brown on your roster, there's a chance that he doesn't play tomorrow. Derik White had 16 and 5, 2 blocks average, let's say, for him. Neemias Queta returned, which meant that Luka Garza went back to the bench. And our Luka Garza, Josh Minott kind of stream is done. Queta had 19 points, 18 rebounds, and 2 blocks, continues to be surprisingly very good. I can't really complain about what he's done this season. Peyton Pritchard, only 9 points. His value is really tied to those points and threes. So when he doesn't shoot the ball well, it looks terrible. When he shoots the ball well, it looks really good. Jordan Walsh, 0 points in 20 minutes. We're not holding him or Josh Minott or Luka Garza. I almost said Anthony Simons there. I think we're still holding Anthony Simons, but it is really close. Sam Hauser had 4 threes, 14 points in 30 minutes. If you want to take a gamble on him for tomorrow as a 3-point streamer, sure. I feel like Simons, probably after a game like this, should be better tomorrow, so he would be another one worth holding on to. The Timberwolves, we know the story, don't we, with them? When they're healthy, there's very little to talk about. Anthony Edwards was fantastic. The peripheral numbers not ideal, but 39 points, efficient shooting, 5 threes, 10 of 11 from the line. DiVincenzo had 15 and 8 with a steal. Gobert, 12 and 8, 0 blocks. I'll say he's been fine without being exciting. I'm pretty glad I didn't draft him. Don't feel like I'm missing out on much with him. Jaden McDaniels, 8 points, a steal and a block. We know the story with him as well. He is a bit up and down, but obviously a hold. Julius Randle, he's regressed a little bit, which isn't a surprise. 16 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. So those counting stats are still fine. 0 steals, 0 blocks. You'd hope to get at least one of those, but we know that we don't always get that with Julius Randle. And when they're healthy and chugging along nicely, Naz Reid, Mike Conley, those guys, I don't think we have to hold. Reid is, if we're being honest, he's probably a soft hold. 10 points for him, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, a steal. We know if Gobert goes down, you have to run to grab Naz Reid, and that's sort of why you hold him, just for when that happens. Or even if McDaniels was to go down, they would and could play him alongside Rudy Gobert. All right, let's get to the next game. The Charlotte Hornets, back-to-back victories for them for the first time this year, I believe. They beat the Bulls on Friday night, and they get the win over the Raptors in overtime. So a good win for them. Let's start with the visiting Toronto Raptors. Jacoby Walter, he moved into the starting lineup, replacing Colin Murray-Boyles. Jacoby Walter has been very up and down. He's been alternating good and bad games. This was a bad one. They play tomorrow, so maybe we get a good game. If you picked him up, streamed him in, hold him for tomorrow. Manuel quickly had 22 and 10. So one of his better games. No steals in this one, but the 10 assists are really nice. Jakob Poeltl had 8 and 11 with 9 assists. So flirting with a triple-double there, my man, Jakob Poeltl. Scotty Barnes, first-round player this year, quietly, 30 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, a block, 11 of 16. He's just quietly going about his business, and obviously with no RJ Barrett there, there's a little bit more to go around on the offensive end. Brandon Ingram had 22, 6 and 4, continues his very good season as well. Mamukelashvili, points, 3 rebounds off the bench. He's sort of a points streamer. That's really all he's giving you. Occasionally he'll give you rebounds. The ceiling is not high enough for him to be a must-roster player unless Jakob Poeltl is injured. So, yeah, you stream him in as required. Colin Murray-Boyles had a point. We're not holding on to him or any of these guys on the bench. For the Hornets, probably the best. Well, the win is obviously really good news, but the fact that LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller both played in this one is a positive. They didn't play a lot. Let's start with LaMelo, who had 14 points, 5 assists, and 2 rebounds in his 22 minutes. Now, they talked about this pre-game. Charles Lee said that the minutes restriction or disbursement is sort of a on-the-fly kind of thing. And given that this was the second night of a back-to-back, they were clearly managing him. He was very active on the bench as they came back in this one. They were down. I think they went on. It was like a 30-10 run or something like that down the final sort of 8 minutes of regular time and overtime. And he was very active. He looked engaged on the bench, so that's a good sign. He wasn't pouting and he wasn't on the court. So I would assume that this was discussed leading into the game that he would be on a pretty tight minutes restriction. Brandon Miller, only 25 minutes now. He left the game at one point, but did manage to come back. Certainly didn't look very good when he was out there. 1 of 13 from the field, destroys your field goal percentage, but you live with that. And maybe it would have been better if he didn't play, or maybe you accidentally left him on your bench because you assumed he wouldn't play. That might have been a good move. Miles Bridges had 35 points, nothing else, but the points are there for him. Kalkbrenner, they went with more of Moussa Diabate in this one. So Kalkbrenner 8 and 6 with a steal and a block in 22 minutes. Moussa Diabate 7 and 9 with a steal in 30 minutes. Kalkbrenner is a hold, quite clearly. Diabate, look, if he was going to get 30 minutes, he would be a hold, but this looks like it's a matchup thing now. So hard to trust. I'm holding him in one league, and I'm just sort of tempering my expectations a little bit. Colin Sexton, 18 points for him, 3 steals, a block, 33 minutes. With LaMelo on a minutes restriction, that's not surprising. Yeah, he's sort of a drop, but he's a guy that is hard to drop, I think, because of nights like this where you get some counting stats, you get some points, you get some threes. LaMelo is obviously not in and out necessarily, but the minutes are a little bit underwhelming at the moment. I think we reach a point, assuming LaMelo stays healthy, where Sexton will be a drop. He's pretty close, but I'm okay with holding him as well. Sion James, a lot of minutes, no production. He seems to be his calling card, and not really interested there in anyone else. The third game. I think we're on the third game. The Bulls, they fall to the Pacers on a Pascal Siakam buzzer beater. Let's start with the Bulls. Josh Giddey, 17, 11, and 7. No defensive stats, 1 of 4 from the line. So a few chinks in the armour there, but still overall a pretty good game for him. Ayo Dosunmu started. Kobe White was out on the second night of a back-to-back, but Billy Donovan did say that this will be the last time he rests or that he's managed in a back-to-back. So if you've got him, just deploy him now as you would, assuming he's fully healthy and ready to go. Ayo Dosunmu, 15 points for him, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. That's fine. He will be a drop at some point as the Bulls get that healthy version of Kobe White back. Kevin Huerter also started. He had 15 points. He's a 3-point streamer. Vooch, 16, 8, and 6. And Buzelis, I thought he'd do more in this game offensively against the Pacers. Only 8 points, but he had 11 rebounds. He had 3 blocks. He had a steal. He had 2 threes. Missed both his free throws, but the 34 minutes, the other numbers, all very encouraging. Patrick Williams, 2 points, 17 minutes. Trey Jones, 17 points for him. No steals in this one. He had 5 steals the night before, but 17 points in 29 minutes. Shot the ball super efficiently, 7 of 9 from the field. So, as I said, Jones, Dosunmu, and Hurd are sort of your pick a prize. You just hope that you land on the right one on any given night. For the Pacers, Jay Huff started and had 14 and 8 with 4 blocks. So we're adding him 25 minutes. It seems to be about the ceiling for him, 25, 26, but that's been enough. Isaiah Jackson moved to the bench and also had a good game, 23 minutes, 14 and 11 with 2 blocks and a steal. I would rather Huff if he's going to start, but I'm sure that this will flip-flop as we move through the season. And honestly, I think this just says more about the fact that Nikola Vucevic doesn't play defense than anything else. So, yeah, don't take it with a grain of salt, but you need to have a look at the context here for both of these guys. Nembhard returned. He had 14 and 6 in his 32 minutes. So, barring any setbacks, let's assume he's good to go. Ben Shepherd started 6 points. We don't need to roster him. Mathurin had 19 points with 2 steals, 6 rebounds, 38 minutes. Rolling with him. Jarris Walker, as they get healthy, he moves in towards being a drop. Honestly, we're probably there already. 4 points for him in 20 minutes. TJ McConnell had 8 and 6 with 3 steals and a block. We hold. This is where we were hoping he would get to, around 25 minutes, and we seem to be there. That's the number that he's sitting on and has played for the last few games. So, yeah, I think we're at a point where TJ McConnell is a hold. All right, the Pistons, they go into Miami and get the win, 138-135, coming off consecutive losses. So this was a good win for the Pistons. They almost blew it. They were up by 27, I think, at one point. The Heat rallied back. But the Pistons do hold on. Let's start with Tobias Harris. Season high, 26 points for him. Talked about him that he's a hold at the moment. It's going to be, this could be his best game of the season, but still a hold. Duncan Robinson, 3-point streamer. I don't mind calling him a hold. He's sort of doing some other things this year, but it's really just the role that's there for him at the moment. 32 minutes, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 3 threes. I've been holding him for a while and I'm okay with it. Cade was very good. Other than the turnovers, his assist-to-turnover ratio is pretty bad at the moment. 8 assists, 8 turnovers to go with his 29 points. Isaiah Stewart started. Jalen Duren was out in this one. So we got 29 minutes of Isaiah Stewart. He didn't do a lot, 9 and 8 with a block. He's a soft hold. Once Duren is back, he probably pushes more into that streaming discussion. Paul Reed, I picked him up in one league, I think, 13 and 10 off the bench for him in 19 minutes. But we know, again, once Duren is back, he goes back to doing nothing. Jaden Ivey watch, 9 points, 14 minutes. It's really slow, isn't it, this ramp up? I'm not sure what the ceiling is for him. I said on yesterday's show, I don't know how long he can hold. Maybe it's one more game, but honestly, maybe you move on. Interestingly, Denise Jenkins, who only played 15 minutes in this one, he closed the game and played a lot during the overtime period. They were going for offense over defense, so he played over Asar Thompson. Only 9 points, 4 assists, so I'm not saying we have to run and add him, but if you were still holding him for whatever reason, this is encouraging, so just keep an eye on this. As for Asar Thompson, 10 and 8, 3 assists, 1 steal, so it's not bad, but it's not good. The 30 minutes are probably the biggest positive here. I'm not dropping him or anything. It's hard to get a read on what they want to do with this rotation on a nightly basis. And honestly, it just seems to be based on who they're playing. For the Heat, Tyler Hero, he's been good. Davion Mitchell, 10 assists, 3 steals. That's what he is and will be, an assist and steals streamer. Norm Powell had 28 points in 33 minutes and beautifully padded his stats in the final seconds of the game where he got a pointless layup. But I like it. I've got him on 3 teams. Bam Adebayo had 15 and 10, 2 steals and a block. Andrew Wiggins, 31 points for him. Perfect from the line. You don't get that very often from Wiggins, 9 of 9. So a good game. Maybe the start of a little resurgence for him. Kel'el Ware, off the bench, 22 minutes, 12 and 7 with a steal and block. Those numbers are fine, but the 22 minutes is not ideal. We hold him. They are running a very matchup-based rotation here. So he's going to be in and out of the starting lineup. He's going to range from 18 minutes to 30 minutes. It'll be a little confusing and weird, but I think we hold. And interestingly, Fontecchio didn't play in this one. Jaime Jaquez was out. Pele Larson had 25 minutes, but only 7 points. We're not holding him or Drew Smith or Nikola Jovic or Fontecchio or any of those guys. Let's go to the next game then. The Brooklyn Nets. Oh, God, the Brooklyn Nets. Do we have to? They lose to the Bucks. Honestly, this score is very flattering, 116 to 99. They were down by 20, 30. You'll see when we get to the Bucks side of things how much of a blowout this was. And even by looking here, the fact that Danny Wolf played 30 minutes, had 22 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and a block with 5 threes, that tells you everything you need to know about this game. They basically threw in the towel in the start of the second half and just lent into these players that we have barely seen. No, we're not running to add Danny Wolf. If you've got him in a deep league or a dynasty league, this was nice. But, yeah, standard leagues, no. Let's look at the starters, though. They were all pretty ordinary in this one. I'm basically just going to write this game off and not pay any attention to it. I will say that Nick Claxton appears to have taken his foot off the gas a little bit. 7 points, 4 rebounds, 0 blocks, 0 steals, 3 assists. He was really good for a period there after a slow start, and he's cooled right off. So hopefully he can turn that around. Noah Clowney only had 6 points in this one, but yeah, I'm just writing this off as a forgettable game, I suppose, which Brooklyn are going to be involved in a lot of those this season. We had Jalen Wilson with 13 off the bench. Day'Ron Sharpe played 23 minutes. Honestly, I'm not even going to pay much attention here. Let's just move to the Bucks. The big news here was Kevin Porter returned, basically playing his first game of the season. He played in game number 1, but didn't play didn't play much before getting injured. So good to see him back out there. He started alongside Ryan Rollins, so that's interesting. Not surprising, I don't think. But yeah, if you were holding Kevin Porter, you've got to like what you see here. 13 points, 6 assists, a steal and a block in 25 minutes. As for Ryan Rollins, there were concerns that his role would reduce or he would come off the bench. Hard to know yet because Kevin Porter is getting ramped up here. But for Ryan Rollins, he had 31 minutes, only 10 points. That number will come down, the scoring number. But he had 4 assists, he had 4 steals, he hit 3. So the steals, I think, will remain. The assists probably come down slightly. The points come down slightly. So we probably have seen the peak of Ryan Rollins, but I do think that he will be a rosterable player rest of season. With all these guys coming back, Miles Turner just sucks. 10 points, 3 rebounds, a block, 4 of 7, 22 minutes. Part of this was just the fact that it was a blowout. Giannis only played 19 minutes. Encouraging that he played on the second night of a back-to-back, and maybe this was, hey, we're playing Brooklyn. We're probably not going to have to play him very much. Still had 29 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals. He hit a 3. So, yeah, look, all things considered, a great night for him. AJ Green had another 5 threes. He's been pretty hot from the three-point line, so he is a streamer that you hold for now. Bobby Portis, 13 points in 21 minutes. Don't need to be holding him. Kyle Kuzma had 11 in his 22 minutes. Did have 3 steals, so that's every time he gets a steal, I say that's a bonus. He's a soft hold, I think. Yeah, I think a soft hold, but we don't need to be holding any of these other guys. Gary Trent, Gary Harris, obviously. This was just a really ugly game that we don't need to spend too much time talking about, do we? Let's go to the next game, the Pelicans and the Warriors. Before we do, though, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is where you go if your fantasy team sucks and you want to try and win some money, maybe recoup your losses if you're feeling like that money is going down the toilet in your fantasy league. Sportsbook.fanduel.com is the website. Jump on there and get some money on. Who do we want to get money on? Cade Cunningham plus 7,000 for MVP. Sure, why not? Chet Holmgren is that's weird. Okay, here's an interesting one. I haven't looked at these for a few days. Chet Holmgren is actually now the favourite to win Defensive Player of the Year over Victor Wembanyama. That's interesting. I can't think of a reason that would have flipped that much. I know Wemby is injured, but this isn't a long-term thing, and it's not like Chet has been out here racking up sort of these block numbers that are off the chart. So that's interesting. If you want to get on Wemby at plus 350, there's one for you. Head over there, sportsbook.fanduel.com, everything you need. The Pelicans, Derik Queen, let's start with him. Another terrible game. 2 points for him in 16 minutes. Yes, we're concerned. Are we dropping him? Not yet. No. This is bad. Like he's just been bad, unplayable bad, and that's never a good thing. But I'm holding him. It's not like Yves Missi is sort of putting up these elite numbers. He had 9 and 10 in his 20 minutes. They just don't have a good center at the moment. Derik Queen will typically get you numbers. He didn't in this game, but he will. So I'm holding him. Bryce McGowan started. There's a blast from the past. No, we're not adding him, obviously. Sadiq Bey continues to play really well. You just hold him for now. No Trey Murphy here. That sort of took away or provided other players with opportunities to score like Sadiq Bey, but he seems to be benefiting from injuries to anyone. So I'm holding Sadiq Bey for now. Zion had 25, 7, and 4 in his 31 minutes. He's been okay. I'm not going to say he's been blowing us away, but he's been fine. Jeremiah Fears, much better. 16 points for him, 2 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals. So the percentages, you have to just ignore those. Alvarado played a lot of minutes, didn't do much, 7 points on 1 of 10 shooting for him. And this is really just because they had no center. And I mean, granted, playing against the Warriors, who don't really run with a center a lot of the time, is probably part of the reason that we saw this. Kevon Looney played 10 minutes. So there you go. Welcome back, Kevon. For the Warriors, no Steph Curry. So we got 27 minutes of Moses Moody. 2 steals, 2 blocks, 11 points is fine. He has to be rostered until Steph is back. Like I said, Quinton Post started at center, played 17 minutes. Then they didn't really have a center. And this is why I think part of the Queen kind of Missi situation on the other side happened. Jimmy Butler was very good, not surprising. Draymond Green was very Draymond Green. If you're holding him, you're obviously punting points. Podziemski had 15 points and 6 assists in 33 minutes. Kuminga returned, 10 points, 19 minutes. Do we run to add him? Sure, if you need points. Buddy Hield had 8 points in 17 minutes. We're not interested in him. Or Gary Payton, despite the fact that he had 19 and 11 in 25 minutes. There you go. That's Gary. That's about a month's worth of production for Gary Payton. So if you streamed him in for whatever reason, then well done. But I'm not running to add him after this performance. All right, the Denver Nuggets. Now it was sort of close for a while. Denver pulled away in or sort of the third quarter and then into the fourth, and it ended up being a bit of a blowout, which meant the minutes were slightly low for a couple of these guys. Spencer Jones, who had been starting and doing nothing, had 16 points, 9 rebounds. I'm not rushing to add him after this performance. Cam Johnson had 15 points with 3 threes. He had a block, 35 minutes. He has to be rostered at the moment. Jokic just did his normal, basically had a triple-double. Jamal Murray, 24 points for him with 4 assists, 5 turnovers. That hurts a bit. Peyton Watson had 11, 5, and 3. No defensive stats, only 28 minutes, but like I said, this was a blowout. And Tim Hardaway just caught fire off the bench, 23 points for him. Literally nothing else, 3 rebounds, that's it. But he had 7 threes. He's had, I think, double digits in like 4 of the last 5, I think. This is clearly his best game. So you stream him in for threes, that's about it. Bruce Brown also playing solid minutes, 10 assists, a steal, a block, but only 4 points. He is someone you just stream in. Specifically in a punt points build, he would have more value there. Over to the Phoenix side, and yeah, it's not great reading. Mark Williams was out. This was a calf injury, apparently, nothing serious, but second night of a back-to-back, so not surprising to see him just resting there. Iguodaro got the start. He had 8 and 8 with 2 steals, but we're not running to add him unless we get word that Mark Williams is going to miss time. Old mate there, Nick Richards, 0 points in 7 minutes. So if you streamed him in, I'm sorry. Royce O'Neal had 15 points with 6 rebounds, 2 steals. He's doing enough to be rostered. Dylan Brooks continuing to play very, very good. That sell high remains open if you think that it's not sustainable, and I don't think it's sustainable. Devin Booker, only 11 field goal attempts, got to the line 15 times, 24 points, 7 assists. There were a few instances during this game I was watching, and it's pretty clear that I mean, they've obviously been competitive this year. They're 12 and 9. I think they're going to struggle once we get into the sort of the pointy end of the season with not having a point guard, because there were a few instances in this game where Devin Booker had some wide open looks, or in terms of there were players open, and he didn't see them. He should have. There was one where, who was it? Might have been, was it Colin Gillespie? I don't know. Someone was basically under the ring for about 5 seconds with no one around him, and Booker didn't even look up. So, yeah, there's going to be some issues there, but still the numbers are fine apart from the scoring for Booker, the scoring is okay. The percentages, particularly from the field goal, from the field, obviously. So it was sort of, they were competitive, so the minutes pushed up for certain players, but then as the game got away from them, they just rolled out some of these other guys. Colin Gillespie had 12 points in 29 minutes. They all came really quickly, and then he sort of did nothing. With Grayson Allen returning, that is going to hurt Gillespie. It's going to hurt Jordan Goodwin. I'm still holding Gillespie, and Goodwin is maybe a soft hold, but I think he will trend towards being a drop. As for Grayson Allen, he had 10 points in 26 minutes with 2 steals. Good to have him back. He will be better than that. Final game of the night, the Mavericks. They get the win over the Clippers. Man, what's going on in Los Angeles? Let's start with Dallas. Cooper Flagg, career high, 35 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. He had 0 steals, 0 blocks, but he almost had about 3 steals. He just he sort of knocked the ball out rather than securing it. He looks fantastic. I know I've said this on the show maybe last week. For me, he is firming pretty clearly as the rookie of the year. Results aside, I just think he looks ready, and he's 18. Man, he's going to be incredible. Dwight Powell started. There you go. No Daniel Gafford, no Derik Lively, no Anthony Davis, and they still get the win. 9 points, 6 steals for Dwight Powell with a block. If you streamed him in, he certainly helped your defensive categories tonight. Najee Marshall had 18 and 8 with 3 steals. We know the story when Anthony Davis is out. We look at Najee Marshall. Max Christie had 3 points in 20 minutes. soft hold, more of a 3-point streamer. Ryan Nembhard got the start again, 21 minutes for him, 8 points, 3 assists. If you streamed him in or picked him up, I'd give him another couple of games. Brandon Williams outplayed him in this one, 14 and 7 with 3 steals in 26 minutes. So hopefully you held on to him. D'Angelo Russell is obviously just gone from the rotation at the moment. So it is going to be these two handling the point guard minutes. And I think it will come down to who's playing better. We will get games like this where it's a 26-21. Yeah, we got a bit of Jaden Hardy in there, but the split was in favour of Brandon Williams, and then we'll get games where the split is in favour of Ryan Nembhard. Klay Thompson got hot in this one, 23 points for him, nothing else, 3-point streamer only. And we got a little bit of Moussa Cisse because they had no one else to play centre other than Dwight Powell. So, we're not holding Dwight Powell or anything here. Anthony Davis and Daniel Gafford will return for the next one. For the Clippers, Kawhi played. He was on a minutes restriction, but second night of a back-to-back, and he looked pretty good, 30 points, 8 rebounds. The defense is a little bit empty at the moment, but everything else is really good. I think he's hit 38 straight free throws, something like that. So that's nice. John Collins, his best game of the season, and honestly, against this Dallas team that didn't really have a centre, if he didn't do something, you'd be a bit concerned. 21 points for him, 3 blocks. Talked about him a bit. I think he is a hold because he's starting and playing 30-plus minutes. This is obviously a very good game. Maybe it turns into something. It probably doesn't. Zubats had 19 and 11. James Harden, 29, 8 and 11. 7 turnovers, but we'll forgive him. Chris Dunn had 2 steals to go with his 6 points. He's just that steals streamer, and then it's just depressing, isn't it? They had 5 points off the bench. Kobe Brown had 5 points. Nick Batum had 0 points in 28 minutes. Chris Paul, it's sad. It's hard to watch. Brook Lopez is even in the rotation. It's just pretty depressing, honestly. And let's end on that depressing note because I'm pretty sure that was the last game, and it was. So let's end there on that depressing Los Angeles Clippers note. Do we want to look at the games tomorrow? Let's do that very quickly. We have 8 games again. Very nice. Early game tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, the Rockets and the Jazz. Then we've got the Celtics and the Cavs. Celtics on a back-to-back, as I said, monitor Jaylen Brown, maybe Derek White, Neemias Queta, who was coming off an injury. I think he probably plays. Then we have the Raptors and the Knicks. Raptors on the second night of a back-to-back. Jakob Poeltl, whether they're still managing him, so just be aware that he may sit out tomorrow. The Hawks play the Sixers. The Thunder play the Blazers. The Spurs and the Wolves. I don't really see anyone sitting on the Wolves, I don't think. I think we'll be fine there. Memphis plays Sacramento and New Orleans play the Lakers. So for the Pelicans, maybe Trey Murphy returns tomorrow. Let's hope we get more out of Derek Queen against the Lakers. We will see. So another 8-game slate. Dan will be back to do the recap of those games as per usual. I will have a waiver wire show coming out tomorrow. Potentially, I've got a full day at work, so I'll get it recorded at some point and then back for the mailbag shows later in the week. Reminder to go and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and please download the audio versions of this. Give us a thumbs up and a like and all of that. You know the drill. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I'm Adam King. This has been Stuff It, a fantasy basketball podcast. We are done.